Good evening once again. Ideya fika esiphelweni i-Women's Indaba yethu. So we are here on this session to make a reflective conversation with the key role players who formed part of the conversation during the day. So it says that it all started since the 1920s when the role of women shifted dramatically in society. It's when now women began to liberate themselves and started working outside their houses. They began to engage in activities which were previously reserved only for men. They discovered and uncovered their sexuality, their sensuality, and body. And in today's society, women have achieved a very active role. All this happened because of a long fight that is still going on somewhere else, even now. Gender inequality can be seen nowadays also, even after all the transformation. Women have walked down the path which is full of obstacles and now gathered the power of participation in the society. Women started their empowerment long time ago, after which all rights of women have been recognized in the civilized countries. A variety of significant and important roles is played by women. We cannot deny that from their birth till the end of their lives. She is still considered even weak when she plays all the roles and jobs timely in and in inefficient manner, because as women we want to be engaged in so many things in nowadays, not forgetting our professional lives. Even after lots of awareness programs, the rules and regulations, the life of women remains much more complicated than that of a man. That's the reality. And in addition to taking care of herself, she has to take care of her family members, as well as being a daughter on the other side, the granddaughter, the sister, the wife, the daughter-in-law, the mother-in-law, and the grandmother. That is a woman for you. Now, women are considered as goddess. I said this even during the day, during the Indaba, but they are not treated like one. For many years, even after all the struggle and fight, they are still ill-treated in our society. Um, what I'm just going to mention a few, the early child marriages, domestic abuse, child labor, sexual harassment, etc., are the trends which are related to ancient times, which we continue to witness even during this democratic South Africa. And the Family Institute is dedicated to use family-based approaches to fight the scourge of gender-based violence, because we strongly believe that everything begins at home. And if we continue cementing the foundation of family values, we are at the right track towards a gender-based violence-free society. And today we hosted our very first Women's Indaba, which was set as a platform for women to gather and in order to inform one another and to inspire each other at the very same time, so that women be at the forefront of development and at the forefront of fighting against gender-based violence, so that women in the democratic South Africa are able to navigate between their professional lives and the nurturement of their families. So today's theme was navigating towards solid families. A women's journey, and we had speakers. There are a variety of speakers who talked, who made so much sense in many of us. So this session is meant to reflect on the Indaba, that took place from 11 a.m. until 6:30. And with me, I have Honorable Siki Khonza, will be our analyst for today, Miss Siphamandla Njeza, who is also an analyst, and Miss Khanyisa Mabece, who is the program director of the event. So welcome, ladies. Mandiqale Honorable Siki Khonza, unjani mama?
Right, right, good evening and good evening to the other panelists and the team that we had this throughout this day. Ndikhona sisenkosi.
Sisikhona, unjani ntombi?
Ndiyaphila. And good evening to everyone, speakers abesinazo during the day and the panelists. I am here. I'm within.
Okay, Khanyisa, how are you?
I'm good, thank you, Spa. How are you?
I'm doing well. So sizaqala ngawe ke Khanyisa ne.
Okay.
Ndifuna nje ukhuvezele abantu abangakhange babe khona kwi-event yanamhlanje. How was the event? Because I believe you were one of the program directors. Can you briefly give us an idea how it went and perhaps what stood out for you?
Okay, Spa, thank you. Firstly, I just want to reflect on what you just said, right? About all of these hardships that women still go through in the democratic South Africa. Because I feel that there are still children that are actually being abducted and forced into marriage, even in 2020. I always start thinking about Hlabati and how she graduated from the University of Fort Hare in the 1920s, and she was from a very rural village in the Eastern Cape. Very, very rural. In the 1920s, she graduated from the University of Fort Hare. Yet in 2020, there are still young girls who are being abducted and forced into marriage. So what you just said just sparked that for me currently. But reflecting on the day, firstly, with our first speaker, Mam Nokolo Kivet, I felt that I honestly loved her talk. It was so inspirational, and honestly, just knowing by the woman of South Africa, by Velaphi. And what she said to me that was so interesting is that women did not see color. They saw each other and they understood that they were in the same struggle as women. And they gathered together to form the Women's Charter, right? Because it was Indians, it was whites, it was blacks, it was coloreds, all came together, right? And then wacho wati, in her words, wati abantu abangodada bakhweleta, and then kwaqalwa i-Freedom Charter. For me, that's something. And then from there, I'll move on to Umamu Maceba, who said that women have the power to make men disobey God. Wanika example about Eve in the garden and how she made Adam eat the apple. Wati women have the power to make men disobey God, but at the very same time, they have the power to make men obey God. So all of
Okay.
this. Mm,
Okay. Before you move forward, I would love for us to move together. You know, I would
okay,
love for us
sorry.
to move. Yes, I would love for us to move together. I just wanted you to tell us the feel of the event. But yeah, let us proceed.
Okay.
I would love for us to go topic by topic, analyzing each topic and what transpired from each topic. Okay, so you can continue with the first topic and then we will all engage for the first topic.
Okay, so the first topic being Lenaka Mamuma Tseba. Huh?
Yes.
That one. Okay. For me, what stood out is the fact that she made me question myself. Bandi Pimna. Am I present or am I absent? Okay. And the
Mm,
fact that she said, even when you are not in the room, people have to feel your presence.
mm,
Okay. She said,
yes.
even when people talk about you, they must know you according to your purpose. So whatever you do, whatever you say, how you make people feel, it must be according to your purpose. And for me, that stuck through. That with whatever I do, Nova Andiko, I am not in a person's presence, but people must feel my presence because they must know that Ukanyisa that stands for this. Ukanyisa ngumntu onje nanje. Ukanyisa, this is how
Mm,
she was made me feel. So
mm, mm,
honestly, just asking myself that question, eti uphi wena? Where are you? Are you present or are you absent? Are you present
mm.
in your absent or are you present in your absence? Where are you?
Wow. Wow.
I,
Wow.
I think
That
that's it.
that that was a very powerful topic and discussions that transpired out of that topic. So, Mamu Konza, can you tell the viewers how the whole thing went out for you, beginning from Honorable Nokolo Kivet and then to the first topic, which was presented by Mrs. Nokanyo Mapeba.
Okay, thanks, Pam. I think the event to me was very effective. It was very fruitful, and it centered really around the theme that you had provided for
Mm.
today. The theme all the speeches
Okay,
centered
thanks,
around
Pam.
that,
I
and
think
no one
the
missed it.
event
That
to
is
me
cultivating
was
strong family
very
bonds,
effective.
a
It was
woman's
very
journey.
full, and
And
it centered really around the
I
theme
just
that
wish
you
that
you had
people that are
provided
not speaking could
for
mute
today.
their mics because there is
The
an
theme that
echo and a break
it, all the speeches
as I
centered
am
around
speaking.
that, and no one.
So, so from starting from Umamunokolo, the deputy minister, she centered around as the program director is saying. She centered around the issues of where gender-based violence is starting from, and saying that it is not a new thing or a new phenomenon. It had been there even in the past, even before the marches that we are talking about. And she was saying that it was in two forms at that stage. It was through the system, the laws that were there suppressing women, and also culturally, because at that stage there was no awareness. Now it is out there because there are issues of awareness. But also, what I liked about her in what she said, which I think the Family Institute should take into account, is to then create that database where we can get the policies that are now in place that government has crafted in order to address issues of women, and also the Chapter 9 institutions that are there, like your Gender Equality, Commission for Gender Equality, and other institutions that are dealing with, other commissions that are dealing with gender issues. And also the new policy that is now looking at the family issues around the prevention of gender-based violence, where she was saying that there is a steering committee that the president has set up in order to look into that. And on that, I think I would advise the Family Institute to sort of look into it, how it can then create its own database on the policies that affect gender-based violence and the strengthening of family bonds, and then also the institutions to deal with those. And then moving with all the speakers, they were very relevant on their issues. And even the first speaker that was talking on the issue of being absent, I think the very critical thing around that was women need to redefine their purpose. Women need to redefine their existence and their reason why they are here. And she was saying we need to leave a legacy as women, that I was here as a woman and I was strong as a woman, and I am leaving traits and footprints that are going to be used by future generations. But also she was also concentrating on how to raise our children, the traits and characteristics we need to instill in our children, how we need to raise and rear boy and girl children, that they need to see examples from us. So I think that was very important. Then moving forward to the issue of the LGBTQI as tackled by Steve, that to me was also very touching, because remember, in your first session that you invited me in, you also said we need to talk around that, and we also made inputs around that. So I am happy that there are discussions that are starting around that, and also even the sector that is affected by that, whether it is lesbians, whether it is gays, whether it is transgender, whether it is queer, whoever, or it is whoever is in that category, be given a space to talk as to how the stereotypes, the cultural stereotypes, the religious stereotypes, even the societal stereotypes affect them as that sector, and also issues of violence against them, issues of misogyny, issues of murder, issues of them, the corrective and punitive punishment that is done towards them. So she touched a number of issues. And then again, you would have a speaker that touched me a great deal. They all did, but she touched me a great deal when she was talking on issues of depression and mental health, where she was just explaining that the stigmas that are there in relation as to people that are suffering with that tells us that there needs to be a lot of awareness. And I think therefore for the TFI, for me, it starts to say that you need to create partnerships as the Family Institute with the, whether it is the clinical psychologists, whether it is the life coaches, so that you are able to have sessions that deal secludedly with the issue of mental health, with the issue of depression, because it is also stigmatized. So I think you need to do that. You need to take that up, so that you have specific particular topics that are concentrated specifically around that. Because it started to say to me, a lot of women, especially women in the rural areas, because she was also stressing on that, might not be uh, accessible to the institutions that are there, to the help that is there, and yet they are suffering a lot of depression, and sometimes they can't even explain that what they are going through is depression until they are diagnosed in that. So I think we need to get into that space. We need to venture into that space. So to me, it was a very, very fruitful discussion. Even the last one on financial matters, where we get ourselves in debts, where we get ourselves swimming in debt because we want to move with the trends. We want to have what other people have, not knowing how they have achieved those. And then we are sort of misinterpreting what saving we make only to the issue of having money in the bank, whilst it is also talking about saving costs on what we use and how we spend our money, and how we also live our lives. So to me, it was very fruitful. It was very cumbersome, and for women that were there, I think it built them. Women were saying out that it built them, and the sessions sort of enriched them and enhanced them and made them more stronger, because Mabnokolo was even saying women are not vulnerable, women are not weak, hence they are called the rocks in Bogodo. They are strong, but it is the societal and cultural stereotypes and mindsets that have been defining women in very different aspects. But all of them, if I may land, were saying that men have to be taken on board. Men have to be together with us. Uthi athi lo ogqibela lo bethetha nge-finances, ispeaker sethu, the esteemed speaker, uthi we need to move alongside men. When we talk issues of saving, issues of having money, issues of creating our own wealth, and ecacisa ne-wealth uba yintoni na. She was also saying that. So to me, it was very fruitful. Thank you.
Wow, wow, that's very mouthful, Honorable Khonza. So, Sikhona, Cynthia spoke about supporting the culture of wellness, supporting each other's development as females, reaching out to each other genuinely, you know. What is your take on that?
Thank you very much, Pa. Cynthia has spoke a mouthful,
Mm,
particularly when she talk about the whole issue of the culture of wellness,
yes.
and he broke it down that we need to create a support culture where each one of us, it's not a matter of I am checking Uspa because she normally checks on me. I am calling Usis Khonza because she's normally calling me. But Cynthia is taking us from our comfort zones, and with us being in silos. But she's saying we need to step up where, as women, we'll be looking for one another. If we, in fact, this actually says, be your sister's keeper. Look for your sister. And Spa Lento is fundisa how to live a normal life. That when be able to see me when I am at my weakest point without me even telling you. But if you are the person that is normally close to me, be able to see that I'm in my weakest point, and therefore I need one to hold up my hands and pagamise. So that's what she was saying. And
Wow.
she was saying we need to embrace strides zethu and our prosperity in life, because that's the most thing that kills us as women, is that when I'm seeing Uspa climbing up the ladder of success, I become jealous instead of me embracing that Spa is able to climb that ladder. Then Cynthia was taking us back to our role. What are we supposed to be doing? Is that we need to appreciate one another, even with a little thing. If you have dressed so well, I must tell you, either than looking down and up on you, just to say you dressed so well today and you are so well in your makeups. So it begins so small, but end up so huge.
Wow, wow, that's powerful,
Mm.
Sikhona. But Kanyisa, as much as Cynthia spoken about the importance of women being able to check up on one another genuinely
Mm.
now, not trying to pry on each other's businesses, or Mrs. Mateba on her topic being absent in our present, uveze into yokuba women like to engage, right? Because nasingabantu abathanda uba busy, we like to mingle, we like to engage in the process. But wasikhuza umama uMaceba esithi, do not engage with snakes.
Yes.
Not in the literal sense. Can you elaborate more on that?
Okay, Spy, thank you. What you said was that sometimes we like to give our attention to izinto
Mm,
that do not require attention yethu. And then in that process, we are then engaging with not just snakes, but even the devil, you know? And then she gave that example of calling okay wako to say, yeka umntu wam, what. And she said that that behavior just shows that you are investing your time, you're investing your energy on things that you shouldn't even be investing your energy in. She says rather use your time productively, rather use your energy productively. So hamba uxhupileka, so hamba uzifaka in just anything. Choose your battles wisely. Choose where you are investing your energy. So that's what she was talking about this part.
Yes, that's very powerful. And I liked when she made an example about umama uWinnie Madikizela Mandela being present now in her absence. What
Yes.
can you say? What can you say about that? Being present now. Well, how do we make sure that even after we are long gone, our presence remains?
Okay. What I liked is how she actually started this topic about
Mm,
Mamu Madikizela. She said that for a long time she was known, or maybe some people know her as the wife ka Datu Nelson Mandela, right? And then she said that, but that was not all that she is, right? And she actually left a legacy for herself because we recognize who she is even in her absence. She might not be here physically, but we know who she is and we know what she stood for. We know how she fought for our country. So, what she was basically saying is that find your purpose, work towards it, and start building a legacy so that when you are not in this world physically, but people will still be able to say, remember Siphamandla Njeza because of who she was when she was still on this earth. We remember Ukhanyisa Mabhece because of what she stood for when she was still in this earth.
So one of the objectives of the Family Institute is to adopt a boy child, as we have been saying. And then uMama Maceba in her talk uveze into endiyithandayo esithi as women we need to nurture the boy child. We need to install softwares about engqondweni yomntana so that as ekhula azokwazi ukuzidownloada. Mama Khonza, what do you have to say about installing these softwares in the mind of the boy child? Honorable Khonza? So I was asking that because it's one of our objectives, ne, to adopt a boy child. Perhaps usisikhona angasiphendula apho. And umama uMaceba uthethe something about installing softwares in the mind of a boy child, while nurturing this boy child. What is your take when asisikhona about the importance of nurturing now the boy child in our society?
Thank you, Spa. Let me begin by saying, what happened in our society is that we shifted kakhulu and we're concentrating on how molding girls either than boys.
Mm.
And sometimes that I think it has a contribution on the GBV part of. Then I liked so much when Usiskhanya was saying this, Essenza, an example about his own boy child. Indeed, when we grew up with boys in our own homes, you'll be given a onodoli, and umfana will be given a truck. That alone is giving a stepping stone that a boy is supposed to be a person that is supposed to be better off than a girl. Yours is to give birth and you put those babies on your back, and a boy has to go to work and having some trucks and all some possessions. But I think now it's taking us to another position of saying we need to instill in our boy childs, how to deal with the other siblings at home. It must begin at home. And I normally share this with my male friends, where I say, gone are those days when a male would be saying, I'm only looking to boys. Even a female could be raised by a man. I am an example of that. My mother, umama wam zange andifundise sipha mna izinto of being a teenager. I was taught by my father. So if singabuya umva sonke that umama doesn't only look to a girl alone, but umama has to look also to a boy. And if we can instill to them that I love you, when abantwana, we hug them, we kiss them, we tell them I love you every day, so that azoyazi intoba I love you is not a language that is suitable for a woman ka, but ayazi intoba naye into ekufuneka iphilile, that everybody needs to be appreciated, everybody needs to be loved. And as such, love is a two-way. You don't expect love from me and you don't give me love back. So it is a two-way. So somehow I think Usiskani, when he said we need to install that software in them as young as they are. For instance, when they grew up, toddlers, awuthi izaniphuze umntana ongumfana amnandi uzunqanyiswa ngumfazi aqalatsho nje kanjalo. It's because yinto ayixelwa isociety xa efika ecaleni kuthiwa yho uphuzwa ngumuntu ongumama uzomatha. But we need to instill those in spite of everything that is happening in our society, so that sizofumana amadoda aqotho that know that a woman needs to be appreciated, either than looking to a woman as being fragile. Mna andiyithandi le nto masithiwa a woman is fragile. Nobody is fragile, but everybody needs to be appreciated, to be loved, to be supported, so that umntu azophelela holistically.
Yes, that is powerful. Steve in her talk usfundise about how to confirm the pronouns. Now, we topic acceptable social norms that perpetuate gender-based violence. Now, uveze about how to confirm the pronouns, like how would I feel if I'm being addressed as Miss or Mrs., all those kind of things, or if a gay person is addressed as him, in as much as that person is a girl. So why do you think there's pronouns that we attach to people end up perpetuate gender-based violence in our society? And because we're in this topic again, and you spoke about the importance of a boy child, being taught how to love, and why it is important for them to love. Why do you think it is important now to also instill in every child or every member of the family that everyone is equally important in that family, and that they must not be seen as objects of sexual desires within the family, because those are the issues that we come across with in this society.
Thank you, Spa. Let me share this with you and the listeners. Kukhona umakoti elalini yami, an illiterate person, that said a very powerful thing last week. She is having 4 boys, and the third boy seems to show the signs of being gay, as she was saying it. But what I liked ngaye is that I thought because of her being an illiterate person would have an attitude. But she said to me, I always address the three that my lomtwan is equally a child like you up in this household. And I am not creating people. So I gave birth to him as he is. Hence xa kufuneka ndiyothenga impahla etawuni mina ndiyakwazi uniphathela, but yena ndihamba naye because he wants those pink tops and tiny whatever. So yandivisa kamnandi lento ithi those people whom we look to as if ngabantu abangaqondiyo kodwa banendlela of addressing things. I think Steve was making a point here. You know, we get embarrassed in and out. You attend a women's whatever, and you'll find that it changed to be a married women's something. Siyile thina si-single. Kuqale kwalento ithi woman ibe ne-attachment engathi ithetha with a person that is married. And lento ithi woman, it talks to a person that is holding or is bearing children. So these tags are also creating the GBV, are making the GBV to escalate because we are seen as objects. Now that Zikhona is unmarried, Zikhona has a tag of sleeping around with all these married men. And as a man, I can go and take my chance because Zikhona is unmarried. So equally so, when in our societies, they see the gays and lesbians, boys are going to lesbians because befuna ubaqhaqha imichayo that uyazenzisa to be like this. You're supposed to be a girl. I am going to show you because you have the organs of a girl. I think we need to understand one another. I used to say enkonzweni Siphamandla, when mama would say, kwam, akekho umntana onofika kwam ndimaze ngumfana afike nezimbo zentombazana. I used to say, sanuliqhwetha ilihlo likaThixo likude. Because with your own wisdom that you're showing, God, uThixo angakuphathela. La mntana unala problem ye-homosexuality ngokwe-case yakho. So that sizobona into yoba, how would you use your own wisdom when it hits home? So we need to treat one another fairly and sincerely, knowing that we never created whoever. Even if we think we are perfect because we are neither lesbians nor girls nor trans whatever. Kodwa into masiyazi apha is that we all created for a purpose. And it's only God that knows why he created ubanibani ngendlela ethile. We need to respect one another. We need to support one another. We need to embrace and love one another.
Wow. Okay, before we close, ladies, I would love for us to engage kule ndaba ye-black tax, which was forwarded by Mrs. Mafunda kwi-topic ye-financial literacy. Umama ukhonza usekunye nathi?
Yeah, the corner says, I'm in.
Okay, ndizawucela nje briefly, can you please elaborate kulo mcimbi we-black tax? But Mrs. Mafunda said akayithandi le term ye-black tax, but it's a term that is widely used, especially by us abantwana bomgquba. What are your thoughts kule term, Mama?
I think what she was stressing and what I believe in is that we get into family ancestral financial burdens. Uthi ngokuzalwayo ube kukho i-burdens entrusted on you by virtue of being a child to that family, that when you start working, therefore, you will have to be responsible for the family, for your siblings, for also sort of a payback for what was sort of invested in you. And then she was saying that that then, and this is my belief, that this is what we need to work on in relation as to creating a foundation ebantwaneni bethu that starts to understand how they can be responsible for their own lives, for their own existence, so that by the time they give birth to their own children, they have invested enough for them to be able to educate their children and also to give their children to an upbringing that can be self-sufficient to them, so that bangabi nabona babe noxanduva lokubhatala le black tax by sort of paying back what was spent on them, or taking care of the other siblings that come after them, but rather there should be a culture of trying to save in the manners that she explained, that you can save by having a little bit in your savings, but also cutting on the luxuries and things that you can live without, so that you are able financially to say, I am healthy. Remember, Gelendo, health finance was also spoken to under the issues of depression and mental wellness. That some of the things that create or make us to be depressed and to undergo mental unstableness are issues of finances, where you find that you can't cope, you can't be able to provide, and therefore, and also sometimes you even stay in an abusive relationship because you feel that this man is the provider and the supporter for my children. So that issue of dependence, that issue of not having invested and sort of created a sort of a conducive platform for you to be able to be financially healthy. That is how she termed it. Then it creates that then syndrome of black tax, that abezemva kwakho ngoku must also, instead of moving forward, badiba imngxuma ongasemva of trying to pay back.
Mm, mm. And a whole lot of children or people who have just started to work, even those who have started to work long time ago, many of them are still struggling when it comes to finances. And
Exactly.
it is really up to us now to take stand, whether you are a woman or a man, to educate yourself and get to know where you and get to know of your financial health status. And
Yeah.
the other ways that you can actually help yourself if you feel like you are not financial healthy, the other ways that you can actually help yourself to become financial healthy. So now I require a closing remarks from you ladies. What is your final word to the other women and the Family Institute as a whole? Sawuqala kuwe, Khanyisa.
Okay, Spa, thank you. My closing remarks, firstly, to all women, what I'd like to say is let's start today. Let's start today to build ourselves, to understand that we are holistic beings. We are not just the physical appearance, but what is inside matters as well. Our psychological health is important. Our mental health is important. Our financial
Yes,
health is
yes.
important. So, everything that is inside, spiritually, you are important. So, feed yourself from the inside out. And if you have aspirations, start today building towards those aspirations. So, to the Family Institute, I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you, guys. Thank you for the opportunity, and thank you for organizing such a successful event. This was brilliant. It was beautiful, Spa, very well thought out, and the technical team is great. Thank you, thank you, thank you, guys.
Sisekhona. What is your final words to the women and the Family Institute?
Thank you, Spa. Ma'am, let me say, as women, we need to stand up and take our mandate. Our mandate is that God created us for a purpose, and we need to refine our reason of our existence.
Hmm.
We need to take the space, not by writing on the social media and being loud wherever, but we
Yeah.
need to take a space. We need to take an action. And again, we need to step aside of not living under the shadows of other people. You know,
Mm.
we get married sometimes, we get into relationships, we get into circles because we want a sense of belonging. Sifuna ukuphila phansi kwemithunzi yabantu, but we need to step aside and create our own legacy and build our own empires so that when we leave this world, we could be remembered in our absence. And there's no other way than us cementing our space and taking our space and making a mark altogether. So in those words, I want to say thank you to Family Institute for this kind of a program. This is a program that actually molds one holistically. Isakhe ngendlela zonke. Thank you very much, because indeed we are in our small corners with our garbages esingafuni ukuziveza ebantwini. We are dying slowly inside of us. For instance, uthi umuntu egula Sipha cannot disclose to anyone. You could see in this COVID, abantu bayalwa when you say ungandosuleli nge-COVID-19, and it becomes an issue because sihleli nje we are broken. Asisathembi bantu, and when we're looking all around, sizibiyele nge-stop nonsense. Nobody could reach up to us. But thank you very much, and thank you very much. We are looking for
Thank
this thing, and it must not be only an August event. Given a chance, it needs to be done, because we are wearing masks, to be
you.
honest. Many of us as women, sinxibe mask of rejections, mask of illnesses, mask of divorce, mask of everything, and we have nowhere to uba sikhuphele khona. But thanks to the Family Institute, thank you so much.
Siyabulela nathi sisikhona sibamba ngezandla zozibini. Honorable Khonza, your closing remarks and the message to the Family Institute.
Let me start. Thank you, Spa. Let me start with a message that
Okay.
your programs as the Family Institute continue to empower the vulnerable groups within our society, whether it is the victims of the gender-based violence, whether it is women living in adverse poverty, whether it is children that are neglected and
Mm.
abused, whether it is men that need support in order to raise their children alone. You are playing a very big role. So I think these programs, you need to continue with them, and you need to diversify, as you did even in these conferences, to diversify your topics to reach the different sectors of our
Mm.
community.
Mm.
That's the message to you. Keep the good
Okay.
work up. Don't tire, and sort of nurture those that are supporting you, and keep on knocking
Mm.
on the
Mm.
closed doors. Something at the end will come up. Now, on the issue that I want to close on is to say the basic, or the foundations of any good society is the best family. So family structures to me and family units are fundamental in building strong, effective, caring, loving, peaceful, and progressive society. That is why
Yes.
then it is important for us to nurture our children, as Umamunokolo Kivit said, especially in the first 5 years of their development, so that by the
Mm.
time they grow up, they know the values inculcated them at that stage, the traits, the characteristics, the family values, the societal values, and they know what is wrong and what is right. That is the first thing. The second thing is around the issue of breaking down both cultural and societal stereotypes by women knowing that they are strong, they are not vulnerable, they are not weak, no, they are meek. But women are
Mm.
strong, women are powerful, and women can. They can do whatever they want to do, because women should
Yes.
not be given favors because they are women. Women should be given tasks and responsibilities because they can, and women are
Yes.
able. So we must
Yes.
always inculcate that in our minds. Thirdly, we need to ensure that as women, we sort of sustain ourselves by ensuring that we practice best economic and financial management skills. So, because
Yes.
remember, a powerful person, an empowered person, is an sort of is an in a person that has a favorable economic base. and
Mm.
and you can't be able to be powerful in other aspects, have confidence, if for instance you can't be able to sustain your own livelihood. So women need to broaden their scope. Women need to, even if it is hard, women need to start something, even if it is putting 10 rands in the bank savings account during whatever, when
Mm.
you, whether you sell or you do that. Remember, most women are in the informal sector, whether it's
Yes.
hawkers or it's people that are selling fruit or it's people that are doing domestic work. They are in the
Yes.
informal sector. And therefore,
Yes.
women need to sort of work together, support each other, lift each other up. But also, government, on the other hand, needs to come up with programs that are sort of directed and focused and biased towards women in the informal sector. Because those
Yes.
women, some of them are illiterate, some of them don't have enough education to knock at the doors. They don't even know where to get support when support is there because they are not exposed. So government
Mm.
needs to go an extra mile. I would say then to the Family Institute, link with the Department of Social Development, knock on that door, even if it is through the MEC or even the political champion as the chairperson of that committee, to say, here we are, and this is what we are putting on the table that we can do in order to assist. What are the
Mm.
programs that you have as social development that you want us to be your mouthpiece to the rural women so that they can understand your strides as government, so that we can be able to be government ourselves as the institute
Yes.
to help those women out there. Lastly, without taking most of your time, I think we need to lift each other up. Women need
Yes.
to learn to lift each other up. Lift each other up by building each other, by supporting each other, by loving each other, by being
Mm.
sensitive to each other, by understanding that we are not all at the same par and at the same levels. But basically, and lastly, we must make our children know and accept and understand who they are, so
Yes.
so that they are able to know, to say who I am, what is the purpose of me being here, and why
Mm-hmm.
therefore am I doing these things that I want to do in order to reach that particular purpose. We need to inculcate identity into our children. We need to inculcate values into our children. We need to support them. We need to love them. And we need to support each other as men and women to build a better society. Thank you.
Wow. Wow, wow. Thank you very much, Honorable Khonza, for that wisdom. You just poured wisdom right at the end of this show. So this was our first annual Women's Indaba. We'll keep on having these conversations to reach out to the larger society of women. So just to recap, during the event, we were encouraged to be present in our presence so that we become even present in our absent. Can I repeat that? As women, we were encouraged to be present in our presence so that we can become present even in our absence. I think that speaks volume, and it needs each one of us to keep on learning and unlearning each and every day. And Umama Khonza spoke about ukubaluleka of us being able to give education to our children of who they are and why they are here. But we were also encouraged during the event to also know who we are, why are we here, to know our purpose. We were encouraged to tap into the change space until we are able to define ourselves. And we are also encouraged not to be afraid to keep on redefining who we are until we are comfortable with our purpose, the purpose that we are meant to serve. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen who are currently watching, I hope that this event was fruitful, and we hope to see you next time. Thank you. Bye.
Poured a 5 liter of paraffin. Then he lied. He locked me inside the house. Then when I asked why is he doing this to me, he didn't respond. He just closed the door and left me inside burning. I'm asking for forgiveness. I don't know what we have done wrong. But guys, please forgive us. Forgive us.
Sikwazile ukusimela. And ndiyacela kubo bonke abantu abathi abahlukunyezayo bangoyiki ukuthi bangoyiki ukureport. Ekugqibeleni sihleli sizofa sithule siyafa. Siyathetha siyafa. Ungcono sife sisilwa. Sizofa sisilwa and asizuthula kunendanga because siyaphela. Asizikhethelanga ukuba ngamantombazana.
There's absolutely no reason to keep on smiling because South African women are dying every day and people are doing nothing about it. I think it's time we stop asking women what to do and ask perpetrators to do better, to be better, and start to treat women the way they deserve to be treated. It's not up to us, it's up to the perpetrators to start doing right. Thank you. The words of the great
ngendlela ikhona usikole isono sethu wathi indaba kwazi wathi indaba